Sí. Oh.
Hurricane Claudia, designated by Spain's AMET under the Southwest Atlantic naming system, began organizing over the Atlantic on November 12, 2025. As it tracked quickly toward Europe, it drew in a cold, moisture-laden air mass that collided with a maturing low-pressure system over the Iberian Peninsula. By early November 13th, Portugal felt the storm's first major impacts.
Caralho! Mano.
Claudia arrived with force, unleashing intense rain, destructive winds, and large coastal waves that battered western shorelines before daybreak. Within 24 hours, emergency agencies across Portugal recorded well over 1,000 incident calls, ranging from sudden flooding to downed trees, blocked roads, and power failures in vulnerable districts. In Lisbon, Setúbal, and Madeira, the rainfall totals surged between 50 and 150 millimeters in just one day, while wind gusts along exposed coastal areas exceeded 130 kilometers per hour. The storm's rapid intensification and speed caught many communities off guard despite earlier weather bulletins. In Setúbal's municipality of Seixal, tragedy struck when an elderly couple was discovered deceased inside their flooded home. Early reports indicated the water rose so quickly that escape became impossible. Their loss underscored the suddenness and severity with which Claudia overwhelmed low-lying neighborhoods. Across Lisbon, floodwaters inundated roadways and spilled into transport hubs. Several metro stations were forced to close due to the risk of electrical damage. Authorities urged residents to avoid unnecessary travel and remain indoors while rescue units navigated submerged streets to help those in need.
Então, agora fiquei curioso. Há bocado era só este que estava aqui. Agora, os portalhões olha, só carros aqui enfiados. Meteram-se à parva por aqui adentro, ó. Está um fantástico aqui, olha só. Está lindo. Aqui são dois, afinal.
Heavy rainfall pushed stormwater systems past capacity, complicating efforts to keep public services operational. Buses and trams were rerouted or suspended, and workers raced to protect critical electrical infrastructure from further damage. Social services prepared additional shelters for those displaced by rising water. In the Madeira Islands, relentless rain triggered landslides that cascaded down steep slopes, isolating hillside communities and threatening homes situated along narrow ridgelines. Regional authorities enacted emergency protocols and evacuated families from danger zones as crews assessed unstable terrain. Beyond the immediate destruction, health officials raised concerns regarding indoor air quality. Flooded homes faced high risks of mold growth and airborne irritants. Residents with respiratory conditions and vulnerable age groups were urged to take extra precautions and ensure homes were thoroughly dried. Government advisories emphasized that prolonged dampness could lead to persistent health hazards. Professional cleaning, proper ventilation, and protective gear were recommended during early recovery efforts. Local health centers prepared for a potential rise in respiratory-related visits. Hurricane Claudia also highlighted deeper structural vulnerabilities within Portugal's infrastructure. Despite modern warning systems, the storm's rapid arrival and unusual intensity exposed weaknesses in drainage networks, urban planning, and awareness of flood risk behavior in at-risk districts. Officials noted that inadequate drainage in older neighborhoods contributed to severe street flooding. Communities built on historical floodplains experienced greater exposure, prompting renewed calls for improved land use planning and long-term investments in storm resilience. When the system reached Portugal between November 12th and 13th, it delivered exceptionally heavy rainfall and strong winds that pushed tidal surges into vulnerable coastal towns. Soil already saturated from previous storms could not absorb additional water, resulting in widespread overflow. This saturation led to flash floods along major roadways and swelling rivers, particularly in Lisbon, Setúbal, and Madeira. Urban drainage channels reached capacity quickly, forcing water into residential zones and business districts. Residents reported water levels rising within minutes in some communities. Claudia's behavior aligned with an emerging pattern of stronger European autumn storms influenced by climate change. Warmer oceans and increased moisture content in the atmosphere appear to enhance the likelihood of intense, fast-forming systems that can affect multiple nations simultaneously. The storm was further energized by unstable pressure patterns near the Azores, where low pressure drifting northeast encountered a high-pressure zone from North Africa. This interaction helped accelerate wind fields and promote rapid cloud development over the open Atlantic. Meteorologists emphasized that Claudia reflected a growing climatic trend in Western Europe. With higher global temperatures, storms carry more moisture and release more intense rainfall within shorter windows, increasing the risk of sudden floods and widespread damage. Claudia also demonstrated how interconnected regional weather patterns have become. Beyond Portugal, the storm reached portions of Spain, England, Wales, France, and Ireland. Wind advisories and rainfall alerts broadened across Western Europe as the system advanced. Local communities mounted a strong response. Neighbors assisted each other during evacuations, provided meals, and shared temporary shelter. Volunteer groups worked alongside emergency services, and social media was used widely to circulate real-time updates on flooded roads and safe zones. Government agencies maintained contact with residents through alerts and hotlines, ensuring rapid dissemination of evacuation notices. Officials encouraged people to report hazards, allowing teams to prioritize life safety operations during the peak of the storm. For Portugal, Claudia served as a wake-up call regarding climate resilience. Upgraded drainage systems, revised zoning laws, and expanded flood protection projects were identified as key priorities. Community preparedness training was highlighted as equally important.